What's
Vulture
good,
Network.
guys? Welcome back to Talking at the Movies. I'm Eddie Reese Antonio.
And I'm Mo.
What's happening, Mo?
What's happening? I'll tell you what, we've got snow outside. I've had the heat on all bloody day.
Oh, yeah.
My feet are cold.
Oh, yeah. I love it. Hey, don't you feel cozy, though, when it's snowing outside?
There is that. I was texting a friend today and saying, isn't it so nice to look out there and see that condition and know I don't have to commute to work?
Yes. Oh, that was the worst. Waking up, seeing that, knowing you have to drudge through it for an hour.
Yeah. I will say, the last time this happened, I was a bit wanker, right? I ended up ordering Uber Eats food and making that poor guy like ride out in the snow.
I was thinking about all this time, but I was like, oh, I cannot be safe on them scooters on these roads, man. No way.
But the thing is, they are out. They basically are wanting to earn money. If you don't, you're essentially denying them income.
That's true. That's a good way to look at it. We're doing them a favor by putting their lives in danger. So, Mo, you've been watching, man. Let's get straight. Actually, no, let's highlight what we're gonna chat about this week. We're gonna be reviewing. Shit, I don't even know if we watched all the same shit.
We probably have done.
We got
Malcom and Marie.
Malcom and Marie on Netflix, and we got Space Sweepers on Netflix.
Space Sweepers.
So we're gonna review those two.
Yeah.
And we got to review Greenland on Amazon.
So you didn't tell me to watch that, but I've got that on my list to watch this coming week.
But we watched the trailer.
Yeah,
it was one of those movies.
I didn't even know it was out. Like, you know how I text you on a Friday and I tell you these things are out? Did you say Mo? Did you say Greenland is out?
I didn't think I had to. It's all over their front screen.
Hey, I don't even log in. Don't even log into that app unless I have to watch something.
Can you not? Amazon. So yeah, we've got Greenland and Bliss.
I did not watch Bliss yet either. See, you didn't tell me.
Rubbish.
I got rubbish.
The exact
Hold
same
on a
thing
minute.
you saying to me about how we watch the trailer, we have to watch it.
When something comes out, you're like, Mo, can you text me and tell me it's out?
Yeah, remind me.
So you could have mentioned, Mo's only mentioned like this. Look, you even said Malcom and Marie was out. You could have mentioned the other two.
You're always on top of it, so I presume he must know. I don't have to remind him. He obviously knows.
And we've got The Expanse season final and Wandavision episode 5.
Yes.
And our revisit to the MCU. Iron Man 2.
Iron Man 2. So where should we start, Mo? This is
right.
Besides all of those things, what have you been watching?
So I've got to talk about two things. So last week I started my journey into ancient Rome in HBO's Rome. So watching it for the first time, going in blind. I'm
interested to see if it holds up, 'cause it's been a long time.
It's actually really good. It's actually really funny as well. And I think it's unintentionally funny. It's the acting wise and production wise, it's a little bit like rough around the edges. I think it does show like it's old. Yeah. I mean, and I'm not saying that it looks like it looks ridiculously horrible. I think it's just the battle sequences, like that opening battle sequence is nowhere near like a Game of Thrones, like how much like that type of thing.
It was just before CG effects became affordable to put in large scale in TV shows. Because what was this? What year was this? This
would be like mid 2000s.
Is it mid 2000s? Or
very
early. I thought it was like very early 2000s.
I'll tell you. Rome HBO, 2005.
Yeah,
so mid,
pretty early. Yeah. So it's small. Yeah. I think that's the thing. It's got the sets look nice, but they're very confined.
I don't know whether because the Blu-ray is like pin sharp, so on a large screen TV, the sets do look, especially exterior sets, do look as though potentially they're on a backlot somewhere. Just a little bit. It doesn't take you out of it or anything. And I'd imagine for most people, they won't even notice it. I kind of look for those kind of things. You like, does that look real? Is that a backlot? Whatever. But like, forget all of that because the actual show itself is really bloody good.
Yeah.
You can see where they've like fictionalized things because they've added like these additional characters, so you can see through the eyes of like an everyman.
The main two characters that we follow, the two soldiers.
Yeah.
They're basically the luckiest individuals because they seem to be always at a point in important points in history that they always happen to be a part of.
Yeah. But and in a way, you could almost look at this as though it's a lost episode of Journeyman. as well, right? The guy has just like gone really far into the past. But no, like the show, the only thing is the guy playing Julius Caesar, he just doesn't look like he would. That's what Julius Caesar would look like, right? In my mind, I have like this kind of vision of like this chat of like this real sort of like heroic, like triumphant kind guy.
Have you seen statues? He wasn't a pretty man. He was old, for one.
Yeah, I guess so, because I just watched that Netflix HBO, no, sorry, the Netflix Rome thing,
Yeah.
and that's like the vision I've got of him like in my mind now.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, some of the stuff it reminds me a lot of Spartacus, right? In their attitudes to like sex and stuff. Like
debauchery is famous for.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But you kind of think like, is that what it's actually like? Well, you got like there's that bit. I think it might be episode 2 or 3. Where all the centurions are sitting on horses, and this guy, so he must have outranked all of them. Like he's up against a tree with like a slave woman, and he's just banging away while the others are just waiting there, like conversing, talking, waiting for like their leader to finish.
That is the mad thing. Is like the openness of it. Like even in Spartacus, when you see like the two, the I don't know what level they were, the lord of the house, so to speak, and his wife, they'll just have sex, and the slaves will just be standing there next to the bed. Just in case they wanted a drink or something, just to help out.
Or there's Julius Caesar's niece, the mother who schemes everything, right? Whenever she's having loud sex, you've got like this old woman just sitting by the bed, just like knitting there.
Man, so crazy.
It is very, very crazy.
But have you watched all of it, or just?
I think I've watched like the first 5 episodes. I'm like kind of like savoring it, like 1 episode a night.
Okay.
And I don't want to like speed through it. Just savor the taste of this one.
I do want to rewatch. It's been a long time, man.
It's enjoyable. The other thing is I finished Loudermilk. Eddie, like get on it, man. If you haven't watched the season 2, season 3, do get on this. I did like season 3 a lot. There's some very funny stuff. There's this one storyline that I thought was really good. There is Loudermilk comes to this realization that he must have been so wrecked, like when he was like in his days of like drinking and stuff, that he essentially wrote this review for this artist, and said like the album was like that she had created, her first album was the worst album he had ever heard, and this person had no business like in the music business. He like suddenly just stumbles across the album one day, and he puts it on. And he listens to it, and he's like, "This is a really good album." He goes, "Not only is it a good album, he goes, it was a great album." He starts then looking this person up, right? And he realizes that she never made music again after that.
Wow.
And obviously, then he goes to like track her down and stuff. So it's great, man, because not only is it funny, but it has like this whole human side to it that is just compulsive viewing. And Loudermilk,
if she was that sensitive, then she weren't built for the music industry, man. Because that entertainment industry will, if you're that sensitive, you will get ravaged and taken advantage of.
It is, and she goes, she wasn't in the right place at that time, but like she goes, like reading that, like really sort of like, I mean, she does say stuff to like kind of make it kind of believable. But the thing about Loudermilk is, as you kind of watch the show, he tackles a lot of things that are changing in our society. So you imagine like the old man syndrome. Like there's a real great bit where he walks into a phone shop because his phone has stopped working and he wants to buy a new phone, and he gets fed up with the sales assistant. He goes, "Look, just give me a phone that I can flip to close the call, and one that has buttons." I don't need no apps. I just need to be able to make phone calls.
No, that's a bit of a legitimate movement that's happening now, because I've heard about people buying flip phones purely because of the fact that they can't, there's no Twitter, no Instagram, there's no all that other shit to distract them.
Yeah, but you don't have to install those apps if you don't want them.
No, it's too easy though. It's like, and half of this shit comes with crap like Facebook. It's already downloaded into.
Don't log into it. But the thing with those is, with the flip phone, you can't even message people because most people won't. Yeah, but all you have like is SMS.
Yeah, everyone has that. It's not like they don't still have text messages.
It's like the worst way. It's the worst way to like look at like group chats and stuff. You can't really partake in those.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But there are a lot of things like that, But you also find out like he can't figure out how to like work his voicemail and stuff, right? So people are going, "I've left you voicemails like for like proper emergency things," and he's just being the arsehole, like, if it's important, people will phone me back type thing.
Jesus.
Yeah, funny show, man. Go watch it.
I have to get back. I should. I really should.
Yeah.
That
is the main stuff I've been watching, other than all of our other things.
Okay, so one thing that I watched all of it in one go. So I saw that it popped up, and this really shows me how Netflix and Amazon Prime, all these streaming services have succeeded in conditioning my brain to love the way that they deliver content to me. Because when we were talking all those weeks ago and months ago about Wayne,
oh yeah,
I had it. I downloaded it, had it on my laptop for God knows how long. I had it there. All I had to do is just press a button to open up a player, press play. That's all I had to do. But once it popped up on Prime, straight away, just pressed it. Like I don't know what's wrong with me, but wow, Mo, this show spoke to me in a visceral way. I don't know what it was. I just connected.
Told you it was a good show to watch.
I told you I downloaded it. I had it there, but I just didn't want to watch it that way. I needed to stream it.
See, you're going legit.
Yeah, I get shit. That's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
But technically,
in fact, it's hold on. It was on YouTube.
Yeah, with ads though.
So you can't watch like a few ads.
Nah. But yeah, I loved it, man. I did love this show from beginning to end. Loved the characters, loved the madness of it, the editing, the way they use music. It's like, fucking cool.
How much bigger would this show have been had it landed on Netflix? Like they would have been a second or a third season. Like low question.
Massive. There is hopes if more people watch it that there will be a season 2. And the creator's been talking about how he has the idea, he knows what he wants to do. Yeah. It's just up to Amazon now that Amazon have it.
Oh, so it's on Amazon now. So hold on. So what part of like this teenage story spoke to you?
It's not about the teenagers. It's just about the way people connect, like the way he connects to the world and the people he comes across. It's
He's a bit of a psycho. Like his dad dies and he fucking burns down the house.
That's dead. But that wasn't about his dad, or maybe it was to a degree.
Yeah, burns down the entire fucking house.
Ending that chapter, but it was middle finger to the landlord, didn't it? There was always a piece of shit to him. So
but there are
the freedom that you kind of some people aspire to, that these characters can just grab onto and just go for. I loved it.
Yeah. It's and the chick was pretty good in it as well. She's like turned out to be a little psycho in the making.
Yeah, with the blood drive and just the struggle.
Yeah,
that was fun. She didn't need to go that far. There are people that legitimately would have needed that shit. But guys, check out Wayne. I don't want to give too much away, but have you got a synopsis for that or something? It gets wrongly described as being a vigilante. I don't think that gives you the wrong sort of image of what the show is. Like he's some sort of superhero. Like, are
we talking about the same show here, Eddie?
Yeah, one description I saw called him a teenage vigilante.
So hold on. So this is the one where they go to get his dad's car. Yeah, right. So after the death of his father, a good-hearted 16-year-old vigilante sets out with his new friend to get back his dad's stolen 79 Trans Am. I think these people don't understand what a vigilante is.
Yeah, exactly. He gives you this wrong just because he kind of helps some people out.
I get. Well, he helps people out for payment though. It's not like he's doing it for the goodness of his heart, right?
Or his best friend. Black kid that he's always saving. He's not getting paid.
Yeah, but doesn't he get like porno magazines out of like his best friend?
Yeah. But that wasn't for beating a guy up. That was for something else. But yeah. Which he ended up destroying later on, didn't he? When he burnt down the bloody house. But guys, check this show out. It's a lot of fun. Just seeing all the vigilante stuff here, it doesn't represent what this is. It's too cool. But I've left it playing down the bottom if you're watching a video of this, so you would have seen it. You know how good it is. So you get into trailers now?
Right. Okay. Right. So big one dropped. I think middle of last week. The Nevers. Josh Whedon's The Nevers.
Yeah. First half of the season. Apparently, it's been done in 2 halves. Season 1.
But apparently, he did direct all the episodes before he left.
Yeah, in the first half. Yeah.
So hold on, does that mean they're only dropping like 5 episodes or something, and then like another 5 later on?
They probably have adapted. I would have suspected they would have adapted it to the sort of, because plenty of shows now have taken that UK model of 6 episodes of a season and then pick up. So I guess they probably figured, yeah, we'll just do that rather than wait. But they have got the new showrunner now, so
Right. Okay. So what did you think of the trailer?
I thought it has potential, but it didn't blow me away. But it looked like it could be cool.
That's exactly the thought I had. Like, it looked like a show I would check out, but it's really weird because it's got like this like big budget, like American thing, but it looks so British. And I don't know if I'm describing that right. It looks more like it was made. It looks like it was made like by British production companies in a British way. It doesn't have that American look to it.
In an old British way, because like shows like Gangs of London aren't typical what you'd expect to be shot over here.
They don't. Yeah, they don't look like they're American shows.
No, that Gangs of London does. But I mean,
it does. Okay, right.
With this, maybe it's just like the cameras they use. Like Whedon isn't a flashy director.
No, but like he made Buffy and he made Angel and he made like Firefly. They look like American shows.
Yeah, but even those wouldn't have been shot the same way if they were made now because the cameras are different, all digital.
Yeah, but you just add like that fake grain into it and it looks like it's shot on film, right?
Does not look as good, no way. But yeah, I get what you're saying. It wasn't quite.
It's. I mean, you don't really get much of what it's all about from like the trailer. You get like some action sequences. You get like a view of the world, almost like cyberpunk. Not cyberpunk, steampunk. Sorry, steampunk, like Victorian era type thing. So it's witches. An interesting setting. Yeah,
because people don't like witches. People with these abilities, like running around doing stuff.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
Do we know when it's coming?
I think it's coming April.
Oh,
just looking on IMDb here, I think like the first episode is listed as just April 2021.
Yeah.
So I'm quite surprised that it is dropping like soonish, but then it has been in the works for like I think we've been reading about this for like well over 2 years.
Yeah, a long time. Oh yeah, I'll give it a look.
Yeah. Then we had like a full trailer for Coming to America 2 or Coming to America.
I see why a lot. Some people are interested in this, but I can't really find myself getting excited for it.
This second trailer looked a lot better than the first one that dropped prior to Christmas. This one embodies more of the original, but I can't get my head around how does he have this long lost son like in New York? Like he only met the one chick and got married to her.
Yeah,
I know he went on a load of dates, but that never looked as though it went anywhere.
That's what they're trying to say, that he had he hooked up with someone just once before he found the love of his life over there.
So like he's not had any children with like the love of his life.
Yeah.
Or they're all girls.
They're all girls.
They're all girls, right?
And
okay, right.
The way that monarchy, especially in old world work, he has to be a son or preferred to be a son.
Yeah.
So
jury's out on this one. Like this new trailer gave me a lot more hope. Next on the agenda, we have a Bruce Willis film. I did not know this was in production. We spoke about a different film that he was. I don't know. Sorry, that was Stallone we were talking about.
Bruce Willis has become Steven Seagal in terms of he just churns these films out. He has like multiple films come out a year that most of the time just disappear, and I don't care because he obviously doesn't care, and you can tell when you watch him. It's like, and the reputation. It's like, I've started watching this, got halfway and thought,
no interest in it at all. I don't know. It's the jury's out on this one. If it comes to like a streaming service, I would probably watch it. This is something I wouldn't go out my way to watch.
But his films are Seagal level now. That's where he's gotten.
Yeah, but like you're saying Seagal, right? You're talking Under Siege. Under Siege 2.
That was the first wave. That's like the first couple of years when there were cinema releases. Not bulk of his career, it's all just bargain basement.
I was thinking, I don't think I could name another Steven Seagal film after those two.
I bet you can make up a title for an action film, and there's a chance it could have been one. Live for Death 2. Probably a Seagal film.
Yeah, Cosmic Sin. Check out the trailer. Sci-fi action flick. Not entirely too sure what the hell the story is on that one. Right. Next, Behind Her Eyes on Netflix. I don't think this is something I'm going to watch, but I added it to this list because it it looks interesting, or at least it has some form of like weird plot that I think some people may be really interested in.
Yeah, it seemed to be this couple with some sort of problems. They kind of invite this third person to be part of their relationship, or
something
to a degree.
like that.
But then it turns out that the wife can do something in dreams.
Is it the wife or is it the person that they invite into the relationship?
No, it's the wife, because she explains
to that
woman that she has this ability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm assuming when they say her eyes, she can see through other people's eyes or something. Then behind her eyes.
It didn't. It just seemed like he's an abusive husband, and something.
This looks like the sort of thing that will be a big hit for Netflix. And not that you and I would want to watch it, but it's kind of like your average Joe.
Weird?
Yeah.
Ain't that weird, Mo, to know that we have completely fallen out of that middle ground demographic, that sort of things that are going to be a hit.
I don't think we were ever in it. Films. I was going to say, I don't think we were ever in it, right? Because if you look at the things that are the big hitters, that have always been the big hitters, especially in the UK, they've always been like those period dramas that are on the BBC. Yeah. It's kind of like the sort of the American shows that we watched back in the day were never the big hitters. They were, for over here at least. They were like the niche thing.
I guess.
I mean, going back to that now, because Netflix is diversifying their portfolio. They're now going after the big numbers, right?
That's it. The neglected market is women.
Yeah. Pacific Rim anime. First trailer just dropped on Netflix. Now, I'd never seen the Pacific Rim film, so I don't know how closely, because they look rubbish. They look like just
giant robots.
No,
monsters. Fighting.
Yeah.
What more do you need?
It still is. Are the films good, Eddie?
The first one is fun. First one is a good film to watch.
It just looks like.
What's the first one?
Just looks like a CGI wank best.
And what movie isn't nowadays? Tell me a movie that isn't. That's
any
a big
intellectual movie. I don't watch these blockbuster films anymore, Eddie. I have no idea how closely this follows like the actual films or anything.
This seems to be a post world of where the movies take place. It's not that far from where we are.
Right.
So this seems to be a way further one where the monsters have taken over and obliterated the world to a degree, and these are like the.
Well, it looks like there's nobody else in the world apart from these two.
Yeah. So it's very different. But because of that, it didn't really feel very Pacific Rimmy.
Right.
But I might give it a look. But
cool. I think I just missed one on here. More Than Miyagi. I added this because I saw the trailer and I was like, you know what? Pat Morita. The only two things I know about him is he was in Happy Days.
Happy Days.
It was a comedian and he was in Happy Days and he was in The Karate Kid. That's all I know about this guy.
Whap on, whap off.
Watch this trailer.
Found out things I didn't even know about him just from the trailer.
Hardcore drug addict, like alcoholic, was like on movie sets and just falling over from like just being like sheerly off his face.
But then again, he lived a long life. Like you see in the footage, he's an old man when he's like, even in his worst, grips of addiction, like he lived. So it's hard to say that he had this premature.
I find it hard to gauge how old he is, right? Because I know when he did Mr. Miyagi,
he was already
they made him look older than he actually was, right? Because at that point you think, he's a man. Well, hold on, if you think about it, that came out in what, 85?
When did he die?
He died like last decade. Like, was it like 2011, 2012?
So he lived a normal life then. I guess maybe professionally he didn't get to what he was. The potential that he had to get to, maybe.
Oh, sorry, he died in 05. He was 73 in 05. There was no way.
73.
So he was well young when he did the Karate Kid then.
Yeah, that's right. But 73, that's a good innings, man.
Does it actually say what he died of here? That doesn't. I might actually want to check this out because, like I said, I know nothing about this guy.
And everyone seems to have gotten involved. Everyone from Karate Kid. You got the LaRusso there. I think it will always just be Danny LaRusso to me. Weird to think. I completely forget that we met that guy. Like, for some reason, that always falls out of my head. I have to remember.
I've met him and I've met Johnny.
And so did I. I gave him back his ID that he dropped.
You mean like the one that you stole as he was walking by? Like, I got opportunity to talk to Johnny.
Yeah, right. I might give that a look.
Yeah. Monsters of Man. This trailer just dropped last night, and I was like, I've never heard of this.
This looks like, now and again you have those sort of straight to VOD or back in the day the straight to the bargain bucket movies that were the diamond within the rough of all of the others, because this kind of looks like it could
go either way.
Interesting. It looks kind of cool.
But it does look really cheap, right? It really looks as though it's
that, but they're in the jungle, so you don't have the big sets. But the machines themselves look good.
The machines themselves do, but you can tell from like the directing and stuff like that it's not like your A-grade like listed directors.
This looks like it was directed by someone who's usually a stunt coordinator on a movie, and
possibly
they decided to become a director.
Yeah, but it just looks like it'll be just like one long like rampage around the jungle, right?
Yeah, that's murdering whoever these people were that this guy's just watching. So I'm gonna actually watch this. I'm going away to check this one out.
Right, and then I'll also see the biggest trailer. So we had a few trailers drop over the Super Bowl last night.
Yes.
The biggest. Now I had to check and double check, and I had to go and watch the old trailer.
Shout out to Tom Brady, this guy that seems to be the untouchable man. I don't even watch American football. I know.
It's and it was all looking like last week that who was it? It was because he's moved to the Buccaneers now, right?
Yeah.
And who do they play? The Packers.
I can't remember.
Oh no! So you only know. So you know the headline that you're out, right?
We have to cut this out. No, we're being exposed. We've been exposed.
See, I remember I used to watch American football, and I used to do the fantasy draft thing.
You were really on it for a while. Why did you drop off?
I was. I think like because the people that we used to do the fantasy league with, like we all just lost contact. And then I remember even like one year, Silent was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna come over to watch Super Bowl," and it kind of like it's one of those sort of things that you need like a bit of like social stuff around you, because like American football isn't like the fastest of games, right? There's a lot of downtime.
Stop, start.
So you do need like people like around you to like chat to and have a laugh and stuff like that in between. Yeah. Right. So, okay. So the biggest trailer that dropped last night at the Super Bowl was the Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, finally a proper full trailer.
Yeah.
And it looks good. Still looks. Come on.
Okay. No, right. So looks good.
What are you complaining about?
No, it looks good. But the thing, as I'm watching it, I'm thinking this looks like just your generic sort of like action show, right? And now we've seen WandaVision. And they've done something so original with this. Like, they've done something completely different. And you're kind of thinking, we're going to go from that to, like, something that just looks like it's a buddy cop show. And I'm not saying there's anything bad about that.
Sounds like you are.
No. But you know what I'm saying. We're kind of, like, going back to, like, the generic formula type thing. We've had something over here.
I think
really original.
I think that's the best way to do it. You know, like how a director should work. One for them, one for me. So one that's kind of the big mainstream thing, and then one that's more original when they do it for themselves. I think Marvel kind of doing that with this. They've got the original one, WandaVision, that's for them. And then they go for this one just to make sure they satisfy the broader audience.
Yeah, but like WandaVision is so universally loved, it's not really one for them. That's like the fans are like embracing it and loving it.
I think it generally is, yeah. I have heard criticisms about it, but yeah, most people do seem to love it. But what, we got Loki after this, which seems to be again a little more original.
I've lost track of what is coming. I know we'll probably have an avalanche of like stuff coming.
Yeah, but I thought this was cool. I like the fact that Agent Carter's back as well. Peggy's niece. Peggy, yeah.
Is she the one from? Was she in Winter Soldier, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they've shown in WandaVision, right? They're willing to bring back these minor characters and give them good, juicy roles.
Yeah, we could get to that.
And I do like that because you get all like these side characters coming in, and it kind of just makes it like it's like a believable universe, right?
That's it. More breathed in. I love it.
Yeah.
Let's get through these other Super Bowl TV spots. Did I even check this one out? What was in there?
So old is M. Night Shyamalan.
That beach
new movie.
That's making that families on the beach, and then they all start aging. It says in the trailer that they know that it's this place. Are they stuck there? Are they marooned? They can't get off the beach?
I don't even think the director knows, because that's the type of films that he makes, right?
That's fucking true. That is true.
It's like you'll watch the film and it will all be left up to you to interpret at the end.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Do you actually enjoy any of his films?
I remember I did love Sixth Sense.
Yep.
I liked,
like, his whole career has been built off the back of that.
Yeah, I think Signs I did like. The Mel Gibson one.
Is that the one with Mel Gibson one, right?
Yeah,
Is that
the aliens
where
that are scared of water or some bullshit like that. Spoiler alert, but
yeah, I remember watching that. I remember that was a rental.
And I think, even though everybody else hated it, I think I didn't mind The Village.
Don't think I've actually watched it.
This little community that's so isolated that they're literally living in the Middle Ages. But they're in the middle of America. Like, they don't notice that there are planes flying over their head. They only notice the plane until like near the end of the film.
Have you watched any of his TV series that he's got on Apple?
No.
Servant?
No. I was hoping you would do that and then recommend them, but
yeah, I'm not going to watch that, am I?
We just really seem to have rebelled against Apple Plus, haven't we? Apple TV.
Well, no, I'm saying I've got a subscription to Apple TV, right? And they make it as difficult to watch as possible. I have to like switch to another input to use the Fire Stick.
You got an iPad? Can't you just watch your iPad?
I don't want to fucking watch TV on an iPad. I've got this massive behemoth like screen on this wall over here.
You don't watch nothing when you're just chilling in your bed?
I've got a TV in my bedroom.
iPad's better.
I'm not like from this generation where they watch everything on like a phone or a tablet. Jeez. Like, when I'm watching something at home, I want to watch it on the biggest screen possible.
Easy.
Don't want to hold an iPad. What do I want to build up my biceps or something holding this goddamn tablet while I'm watching TV?
That's how you. That's where the engineering knowledge that we all have built into our DNA figures out where you balance it between your chest, your belly, and your knees, or you put something behind it. I don't know. Yeah. You got cats leaning up against the cats.
Yeah. You've met my cats. Yeah. And lastly was Nobody. This was like a quick blink or you'll miss it type thing. Just makes it's just whetting the appetite for a film you already want to see.
Shit.
Yeah, we all want to see this film.
So let's get into the big show. Like, yeah, some okay trailers there, but let's get into the bigger reviews.
Right. Which one do you want to start?
Start with. Actually, I should have just done it with my regular because you didn't see either one of them.
Yeah, I don't know why you didn't.
Yeah. All right. So I'll get them out of the way. I'll keep it brief because not much to say. So on the Amazon Prime sort of side of things, there was Bliss. Let me bring up the cast list of that so I don't forget anyone.
Salma Hayek, Owen Wilson. Was it Luke Wilson?
That's the thing that I wanted to remember. I was thinking getting mixed up. The one with the mad nose.
They just look so similar. So hold on. Luke Wilson is the guy from Old School. And Owen Wilson is from the Jackie Chan movies. Yes, this
is Owen Wilson and Salma Hayek. In this, we were saying that it was kind of like a
Matrix meets Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Yeah, and that kind of is what it is.
Oh no, sorry, Matrix meets the Truman Show.
I think Spotless Mind even.
Okay, all right.
Tonally, I think that even works better than Truman. You got this guy who meets this maybe crazy woman who seems to open his eyes. This guy's life is miserable. He's going through a divorce, gets fired from his job, thinks he killed his boss. His life is a fucking mess. Meets this woman who looks like a crazy bag lady, but she seems to open his eyes that this world that they're in isn't real, and that there's only a handful of real people. Everyone else is just fake that they can manipulate with these abilities. And they would take these little crystals that would help them give these powers to do various feats. And at one point, no, I won't ruin that, actually. I'll keep that down. But it's a frustrating film more because I really wanted you to see this because I wanted to really discuss.
So if you had messaged me saying these are also out,
I guess we'll have to throw this one to next week, man, because I want to get your thoughts on this.
Right. So I've got to ask, right? Because you say that she's a crazy lady.
Maybe. Right. That's the thing. Nothing's.
So does he follow her because she's Salma Hayek? Like, if she had been like some actual like bag lady living on the street,
but even
not particularly good
as
looking,
Salma Hayek, she wasn't presented in any sort of va-va-voom Salma Hayek Latin heat sort of way. She was literally looking like a mad bag lady. So I don't know why anyone would want to hook their cart to that wagon.
So is it worth watching? That's the important thing.
It's
Because I read a review
thought-provoking.
today.
So
I didn't read the review. I just read the synopsis where, oh no, sorry, not the synopsis, the conclusion, where they made it sound like it's not worth watching.
Sometimes it's about the journey, not the destination. Mo. It's about it's
So
about
it's rubbish.
how intriguing and the questions it throws up. Okay, fuck it. All right, fuck it. I was just gonna ruin everything. Screw it.
Yeah.
At one point, no, I think
kill yourself. You're like, why am I watching this?
I didn't enjoy it overall.
Yeah.
And I think it basically ends with just him just being, this whole thing was delusional. He was crazy. He did have a breakdown, met a mad woman who put him onto, I think, meth. I think these crystals that they were taking to give them powers was actually crystal meth that they were taking. And he was a drug addict because at the end, he's in an AA meeting, which is usually just for like alcoholics and drug addicts, as we know from Loudermilk. So, but it was never explained why he was in this. So, yeah.
So the movie's only been out for a few days and you spoiled it for everyone listening.
It's
like,
not
you're supposed to give reviews to entice people to watch films, not like ruin the entire plot.
We entice them to watch good films. This, I don't know. I did want you to watch it though, man.
You wanted me to suffer.
It's interesting still. Even though it's kind of bad, it is. What's going on here?
Now, Greenland, that I hear nothing but good things about that film.
It's actually not bad. But yeah, it's a disaster movie that is pretty slim on the disaster stuff. It's more about the family. It's more about how they deal with this coming possible apocalypse to Earth, this meteorite, and the various pieces that kind of come at various points to destroy the Earth. So it's you think it's going to be massive, like 2012, about all the destruction of all the buildings and just the disaster porn, which is why I love disaster movies, just to see the cities get destroyed.
That's why you like Roland Emmerich films, right? Because he just knows how to blow stuff up.
Yeah, this has a little of that, but not much. It is mainly about them because they get separated at various points, and even the kid gets separated at one point from the parents, and how they find their way together and navigate the fuckeries of trying to get to Greenland, where the bunkers are.
So I hear this is a very exhausting film to watch.
It is long.
Not exhausting as in long, exhausting as in like it's tension filled. It never lets up.
Oh yeah, I was definitely stressed watching it. Yeah, that's actually a good way. I was definitely feeling stressed. If you're one of these people that watches these films and puts yourself in that situation, it is a case of, okay, we're at the airport now. We're gonna get on this plane as a family. We're gonna go to Greenland and get into the bunkers. We got clearance. It's all good. Oh fuck, our son who is diabetic. Our 4-year-old son who's diabetic has forgotten his insulin. We can't, obviously, someone that you can't just be like, fuck it. You have to go back to the car, but you have to get through a riot in order to get to that car of people who didn't get clearance to go to the bunkers. So obviously, you ain't going to be able to get shit. And it's constant stuff like that. Don't split up. Don't trust this person. Don't trust that person. Don't get into that vehicle. Yeah, it's stressful. It's stressful. But I did enjoy it. I did like it.
Yeah. I think I will probably try and squeeze this one in this week.
I'm gonna give it though. Not very in-depth review, I know, guys. Sorry, but I'm gonna only give it about 3.5 stars. Yeah.
Oh, it's almost a 4.
Did I say 3.5?
Yeah.
Let's say 3. Let's say 3. It's midway. It's midway, but enjoyable midway.
Yeah.
And 2 stars for Bliss.
Right. So which one do you want to do? Malcom and Marie?
Let's get the fucking space sweepers out of the way first.
The way you said that, fucking space sweeping. So I think our opinion is gonna be very different on this film.
Oh, how can it be, Mo? What's wrong with you? This was just a poor version of a live-action Cowboy Bebop.
I don't know, man. It kind of had some substance and some style,
it tried, but it was terribly written.
There were some very good ideas. Yeah, there were moments in here where I was just like, I don't know what's going on. Like in the middle of the film, like the kid's dad suddenly arrives, and I wasn't even aware she had a dad, or they were looking for her dad, or anything like that.
Yeah,
there were some moments like that, but I loved the crew. They were typical like Korean. You know, like how when you watch certain Korean films, and like everyone just has the same acting capability or the same type of like person. Or like that template of characters that always seems to pop up.
That captain was way too young. She looked like she was 15.
She did not look like she was 15.
Yes, she did. Could they not have
It's
got a
like-
grown up to play the
it's like
captain? A grown ass
Asians
woman.
just look
even
more
that.
youthful.
She was like 4'2"
Oh, she wasn't.
with that chubby cheeks. Just like a kid. Like, what's going on there?
No, she did not look like a kid.
I do like how the
Wait,
robot.
Hold on. You do know the little kid was not the captain, right?
I do know that. What I do like is how the robot wasn't like a service robot. It was a legitimate standalone individual.
He wasn't a Star Wars style robot.
Yeah, he was an individual who was screwing them out of their money half the time. He was the only one that had money. He was rich.
Then he gets like the harpoon, and he goes out and he starts just like throwing the harpoon like into like the enemy combatant ships.
Yeah, this wanted to be a franchise so bad. I don't know. Maybe enough people like it where they may make more. But it's just too bad. It suffers from when a foreign director who doesn't speak English directs English actors. You always get this terrible performance. Or other
Western
nations.
actors were horrendously bad.
It tries to be very inclusive because everyone has these little translators in their ears. So they have English speaking cast members. You have German. You have like all these other nationalities all mixed in there, along with the Korean.
Which, if you actually think about it, when we get that technology, that's what it's going to be like, right? You're going to hear people are going to be speaking in different languages to each other.
We're getting close. We have got the earbuds that can translate kind of in real time. But but the performances are bad though, and the writing is bad, and it's cheesy, and it's like
I didn't mind all that. And the special effects look great though, right?
Yeah. I'll give them that. They did look pretty good.
If you imagine that film was shot on a fraction of what like a Hollywood budget would be.
Yeah. But it looked like we don't know if it was a legit Netflix production from the get-go. I think
it wasn't. It was a film that was supposed to come out last year in Korea. But because obviously of the pandemic, it couldn't, so Netflix acquired it.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna give that a 3.
2.5.
I'll give that 3 space sweeps.
Part of me wants to give it 3, but I'll give it 2.5. The kid was cute. I did like the kid. Sometimes the kids are like mad annoying in this, but I did like her.
I thought the film got better as it went on, right? And especially at the end, I got really confused where she goes, if you come to help us or whatever, we'll. I can't remember what she says, and I'm kind of like, hold on, you're leading them to death and you're running away. I thought she was trying to double cross them, but obviously they came up with a plan that I hadn't even thought of.
Oh yeah, in the matchup. I almost want to talk about what happens to the robot at the very end. Is it worth ruining?
Shit, that's like some Korean stuff, right? Because that's something you would never see in a Western film. And it comes out of nowhere.
Well, no, they do talk about it halfway in the film where why it's saving up all of that money for. But yeah, it's an
interesting film. If you watch foreign films, if you don't mind subtitles, I was quite surprised by the amount of like non-Korean like talkers in this as well. That was very interesting. But
no, you can't just say if you like foreign films you're gonna love this. No, they probably won't.
No, I don't mean you'll love it. Like give it a whirl, because some people won't watch no matter how good a foreign film is, they just won't watch it.
There is a dub. I didn't watch it in a dub, but there is a dub. I think it started playing in the dub. I don't know. I just don't like dubs, but if people don't want to listen, don't want to read, like most people don't apparently. Right. Yeah. All right, now the one that's got people chatting, but not enough that it's in the top 10. Maybe it is today, but it wasn't the last couple of days. Malcom and Marie.
Sounds like a 70s pop band.
Yeah, it does actually. So, what do you think?
So, I will say it's not often that I give up on a movie halfway through.
Oh my God, you didn't.
I gave up on this at minute 54. When I looked, there was like another 55 minutes left. I was just like, I cannot continue to watch this film. Now, let me start with the positives.
Wow.
It looks really nice.
It looks great.
It directed really well, although the director had a tendency to move the camera a lot. Right?
What's fine with me?
What I didn't like about this film, and what I just could not take, was had been at that point, I'm going to assume that the whole film was like this, for an hour, it was just two people who obviously fucking hate each other, just like saying like nasty things and just being a horrible. And you're like, I don't care about either of these two people. I just don't care whether one of them suddenly gets a knife out and starts stabbing the other person. It was just like, I've lived this in real life. I do not need to watch it in a film.
So it was triggering for you. I was wondering whether that was going to be a case for some people.
It wasn't that it was triggering. I'm sure. The other thing is, it's like you're watching a play as well. It's not like you're watching a movie.
Yeah, this would, and if it does kind of build a following, I could imagine that once everything opens up, this being adapted to be a play.
I wonder if it would work as better as a play, because as a film, it looked like I was watching a play where actors were overacting and talking in a way that they wouldn't normally talk.
I fucking loved it. I enjoyed the fuck out of it. You loved
the whole thing, really?
I did. I know, admittedly, this is a 2-hour argument. This movie, it's literally an argument for 2 hours between these two people, and it kind of goes up and down. The pendulum swings with the person that's the aggressor, and she should get over it, or he should get over it, or one person's over it. It's fucking crazy, but I loved it. I loved the way it was written. I loved the way it was directed. I loved the way they used music in order to further the argument, to fill in the gap sometimes with the lyrics of the songs that they would just play at random points. And
oh no, is this the bombshell? Have you finally now converted?
John David Washington is a good actor. Now he's finally become a good actor. He had the practice of all the other films where he was shit.
No, you haven't seen Black Klansman.
And he's figured it out, how to do it, and had to bring out emotions. And he had some now. Yeah. So where was this during Tenet? That just makes Tenet worse for me. The fact that he was capable of this charisma, sort of charisma and animation.
No. What Nolan said to him on set is, I want somebody who's got no charisma as being the protagonist.
It's just like, that movie would have been so much better. Oh, it's just annoying. It annoys me.
Honestly, I even contemplated the next day, maybe I'll go and finish the other half. No.
Dude. And Zendaya, who I've liked her in a few things I've seen her in. Never watched any of the old sort of Disney, Nickelodeon shit that she did. But, I've wanted to really, this makes me want to go to watch Euphoria. I've heard a lot about Euphoria, the HBO show that she does, where I think they've won awards.
All right.
So I may have to go check that out, because she was really good in this as well. She
was good. Yeah. She was pretty good. I did enjoy watching her say the C word over and over again at one point.
But yeah, he is a piece of shit though. And he's childish and he's immature and they're like dogs with bones.
Well, that was it, right? Because he's made a mistake.
Yeah.
And admittedly, it was a big mistake, right? Mm-hmm. And she latches onto that. First she says it's fine, and she latches onto it to the point, instead of like just coming out and saying this is an issue, it's like you had to drag it out of her. And it just
happens to happen in real life, yeah.
Exactly. That was the whole thing. It was just like, if no one enjoys this in real life, I'm not going to enjoy watching it.
But it gets deeper. It gets past that, and you get to see the other layers of what it's really about. That was the surface fit. That was a trigger. But that was just like the kindle to the bigger fire that they end up getting to. But I really enjoyed it, man. I found it interesting.
I'm surprised.
For someone who doesn't believe in love, who balks at the idea of people getting married for that lasting any length of time. This was fascinating to me. It's like watching animals in a zoo, because I'm never gonna fucking do that. So it's like, this reinforces why you don't move in with someone. But no, I thought the writing was really well done. I think the director's the same person who wrote it. I can't be asked to look it up. I really enjoyed this, man. It's a solid 4 for me, man.
I would say
it's like a French film.
I was gonna say the fact that if it was a French film, it would have been like more like va-va-voom.
I thought it had that though, man. The energy they brought to it, the music, the way it was directed. This was sort of movies I used to love watching back in the night. The French sort of foreign VHSs I would get my hands on. Yeah, it's cool.
It's the fact that I stopped halfway. I would imagine I have to rate this like a 1.
Shame on you. That's not fair. You shouldn't be able to rate it because you didn't see the film.
I'll give it 0 stars because I wasn't able to finish the damn film.
You didn't even watch the film, so you shouldn't be able to rate it.
That's a whole rating in its own right. That the film was so bad I couldn't even finish it.
It's terrible. It's terrible. Yeah, I liked it, man. People just can't handle it. It's too soft. That's what it is. Audience is too damn soft. I loved it.
The first time you have a long-term relationship with a woman, Eddie, and then you have that big bust up that goes on for hours, then we'll re-talk, and I'll go watch Malcolm and Marie right now and tell me whether you think it's a good film.
I'll be prepared. I'll be armed with this film in my quiver. I'll know how to navigate. Yeah.
You'll be like, I'll be dropping truth bombs.
God, that must be fucking exhausting to live that.
Actually, the only thing I really enjoyed about that film, I kept thinking, damn, this is the first movie this guy's directed and the character, yet he's got the most swankiest like pad that I've ever seen. Ooh. Right, I could never like afford to have a place like that.
Yeah. Even just renting it's probably crazy money.
Yeah,
but it's only 2 cast members though, so
yeah. One thing I will say, it was obviously a clever twist on the lockdown film, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it. So let's get to the shows.
Let's get into it.
All right, let's get Expanse.
The Expanse.
So what you think?
So there's a couple of things that happened here, right? So a very, very good episode. It obviously sets the stage for season 6. Finally brings all our characters back together. By the end of it, you're kind of thinking most of these characters haven't been together since the beginning or at all, right? Only Naomi and Holden at some point had some scenes together in the first episode or first and second.
We never get them all together though, because one major.
That was shocking.
Loss.
I knew he was coming. I knew he was not coming back for season 6.
Oh.
Because he's been written out on purpose.
Oh, wow.
He's been a naughty boy.
Oh, yeah, you were talking about that.
Yeah. So I don't know whether they edited the end of this episode post that, because it's a very sort of like, it's an off-camera.
It's a free, but you do see
we should say, so spoilers, folks, here. If you haven't seen the final episode of The Expanse, maybe skip ahead.
So, yeah, Alex dies. But when we see him, they could trick that, because when we see him, he's like frozen in place. So that could be a still image, and then you just add droplets of blood.
Yeah. That's exactly what it looked like, because you're watching it and you're kind of thinking, have they redone this, right? Because there was like nothing. Like one moment he's fine, he's talking on the radio, and next minute he's had a stroke and he's dead.
They do talk about they did mention the dangers of what they were doing, the maneuver that they were doing.
Yeah, but I don't think he's in the books.
Oh, okay.
So the fact that he's been I guess we're turning Weinstein now into a verb. He was Weinsteining at conventions.
What? Oh, that's what with fans?
With fans. So basically, he was he was essentially doing what Weinstein used to do, right? If like someone turned you down, he'd become rude and aggressive. Allegedly, obviously, these are all the things that I've read about him. But it something like he must have done it either a lot. Something must have happened like big time. For them to like kill him off, not even like write him out and then maybe bring him back at one point. Like he's gone. Fucked
up. See, don't listen to your dick, man. You have to. The men of the world.
Yeah,
I know it's hard. I'm there with you. It's like it has its own. It's like a demon on your shoulder, but you have to have control of it, man. Don't be a slave to it. God.
Well, no, it's not being a slave to it. I think it's more of, so if you think about Hollywood is an industry, right, where you essentially, if you're successful, you never get told no.
He ain't a successful actor, though, Mo.
No, but he's on a show that's
only show that nobody watches.
No. But like when you go to a convention, all the people there are fans of the show, right? That's the whole reason that they are there.
But he's at 40 years of preparing himself to not be a fucking.
Yeah, but
if he's like this now, I bet he was like this when he was a teenager in his 20s,
possibly.
In his 30s.
But like the thing is, like Hollywood magnifies that, right? It basically makes you think like you can have anything, and for like years, since the year dot, they've rewarded bad behavior because like you're a star, like they don't say anything to you. Now we seem to be in this upcoming right where people are behaving like this and they are losing their jobs because of it. Dude, like in any other industry, if you acted like that, you'd lose your job.
It will still happen. You know,
it will still happen, but what we are now seeing is that there is some upcomings to it. Like because before there was because there was no deterrent to it. You know what I'm saying? Because there was no deterrent to it before, people would just carry on doing it.
Empires, man, that have been destroyed just because dude got so horny and he wanted to just roll the dice. Risk it all.
I'm sure, like a guy like him at conventions, there were probably women throwing themselves at him.
Really? I don't feel. Have you seen this?
Yeah, of course they were.
I don't know.
He's not an ugly guy.
I guess. Yeah.
But the actual show itself, really, really good, right? You had all this tense stuff that was happening on Drummer's ship, like with the crew. You had Marco Inaris like on the verge of a nervous breakdown type thing because like his fleet was being destroyed, not destroyed, but
you know how happy I was once Kamina stepped up and got rid of that chick. She annoyed me so much. I was so happy. It was a bit of an anticlimactic how she died. Just knock on the back of the head and just.
That's fine because that's more true to reality, right? You don't want like this 10-minute fight scene that goes on and on and on. That's like
I do.
In those sort of conditions, that's what's most likely to happen. Someone's going to grab the nearest weapon that they can and smack you.
Yeah, but hit her in the back of the head when she's wearing a helmet.
Yeah.
So it's
yeah.
She's wearing a helmet. Yeah. She would be fine. But Wes is back. I mean, Amos is back with his.
I love the little scene with him and Holden, right? You know where he's going. Like, do you remember that time you threatened to kill me?
Yeah.
Like really styling it, really playing it. Yeah. No, Amos, we're family now. He goes, I'm good you realize that. That was so funny. The way, no explanation, no nothing. Like, hey, come on, you're good now.
We're bringing aboard this chick who tried to kill us all just a year earlier. Fucking crazy.
Brilliant.
Was it even a year? Was it 2 years?
I don't think it was last season. It was because last season was in the ring.
Yeah. 2 years ago, maybe.
Which is where they're heading back to now, right? And you're kind of like, what was that ending?
Yeah. That was a fucking head fuck. Something's going on. They've activated something that they didn't expect, the Martians.
Yeah. So is that been destroyed? What is that? Is this actually being sanctioned by Mars, or is this like a rogue operation?
I think this is a rogue Mars group. But I think they've awakened something because you can see those things flying around them when they froze. Did you
watch after the credits? No, because they show you the picture of that thing just hanging in the sky. So after that big grey thing with like the tentacles, whatever. Yeah. So when the credits have all finished, basically like just literally for 2 or 3 seconds, they focus on that and the eyes like all light up blue.
Eyes, so it's a head.
Yeah. Well, it's not a head like that. It could be like the lights or something. But when the lights illuminated, it looked like it would have been eyes or something, right? And then it just fades to black.
So we may actually have fucking life forms, alien life forms next season.
Possibly. But so good. So good.
Man. Why don't more people watch this shit? It's not fair.
Right. Let's get to it. Wandavision. So it's opening that mimics 3 sitcoms: Family Ties, Growing Pains, and Full House. She's the oldest, the older sister of the 2 girls.
No, she's the youngest of the 2. They're older than her.
The youngest of the 2?
Yeah, okay. They're her big sister. She wouldn't have been born yet when this show was on. But yeah, I always forget that. And you always have to remember that they're very successful, even though we never see them anymore. They're billionaires.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because I can't remember, were they in the revival? I'd imagine they were in the revival on Netflix.
No, they're too successful.
Were they not?
Now. They're billionaires now. They don't need to do this shit. They have an empire of like fashion and all that stuff.
Oh really? Is that what they're into nowadays?
Yeah.
Because I think the show that I was watching, like some one of those things on like YouTube where they show you like all the Easter eggs. Apparently they mentioned that she'd been offered the role of in the reboot, apparently in Full House.
That would have been, I guess it's a bit below her, to be honest, but that would have been fun.
Should have been in the Marvel films by then, I think.
Yeah. Would have been a little fun cameo.
But so the house they were in, or the set, I don't know if the last time you watched Family Ties, but it was very, very reminiscent of that.
Yeah, okay. I was actually thinking while watching it, like, are they remaking these houses on every episode? No wonder it costs so much per episode.
Yeah, but it's so well done.
It is.
But this episode was so good because you had like tension and stuff outside, you had tension and stuff inside. You had like what's going to become an iconic sequence, right? When you've got them both in the air looking at each other.
Yeah.
I
like the fact that like we were wondering whether is she manifesting Vision.
Yep.
and just giving him consciousness using her power. But we actually know now that she actually got his fucking body, took it, and just reanimated the body, and just walking around. That's fucking crazy.
But it doesn't explain the children, because everybody else there is under her influence. And Vision, obviously, she grabbed like the remains of his body. So the children seem to have just come out of nothing.
Necrophilia.
But Vision didn't actually have anatomical parts, right?
True, but isn't it something he could just make?
I don't know. I don't know if they go into that sort of detail.
But the big moment, though, come on.
The bombshell, right? Which actually left people like me a little bit like, not confused, but like weren't quite sure of the significance of it until after I went and watched like behind the scenes, like Easter egg type thing.
What we spoke about this though, Mo?
No, we did not.
Yes, we have.
You must have spoken about this on your other podcast.
No, I mentioned it on this one, that the Spanish voiceover artist who usually works with this particular actor, doing his voice, gave it away on Twitter that he was hired. Yes, I mentioned it.
This must have been on your Marvel versus DC podcast.
About 3 weeks or a month.
3 weeks? You want me to remember what 3 weeks ago? I can't remember what the episode was 3 weeks ago.
This is a significant spoiler. The fact that they not just brought back Quicksilver, but didn't bring back her Quicksilver. They brought back the fucking Fox X-Men Quicksilver.
And you're kind of thinking, oh, is this her brother, like from the film that died? And
how is your memory that short that you forgot?
Listen, mate, how long ago did Age of Ultron come out?
Doesn't matter. Everyone else knows.
Matter.
Everyone's talking about it. No. Everyone's talking about it on Twitter and Instagram. Everyone knows.
Yeah, because those people watch these things again and again and again and again. No. Like, if you're only like me and you watch these things once, those things don't sink in.
The man has literally done, this actor has literally done multiple X-Men films, and you've forgotten him.
Yeah, exactly. Because I've watched all of those films like once.
That's this face blindness. We have to take you to a specialist.
No, it's not the face blindness. I don't even remember the fact that Quicksilver was in those films.
You need help, Mo. This is bad.
No. Because those films, they're just films you watch and you go, right? They're not things like Lawrence of Arabia that stay in your mind for like years and years and years.
You see an actor, you recognize that the actor looks a certain way, and then you recognize them somewhere else.
It had no impact on me whatsoever. That's what it is. That actor, no impact. Anyway, let's get back to the show. So
the fact that they brought an X-Men version of a character into the MCU.
Right. So is that what they have actually done? Right. Do you think that's what they've done?
Well, it's still Quicksilver. It's still him.
But it's not a trick.
What's the trick?
Like, as in, it's not like some other force, because we still have this idea that there might be some other force that's pulling the strings here beyond Wanda.
No, I think it's established now that it's her doing. She made this. She's in control of this. When she confronted everyone, when she pulled the drone through, she basically said that, I want to be left alone. This is.
But but you don't think like there's somebody else above, like, that is doing like stuff?
No, because eventually. Well, I think there will be maybe one other character introduced, but if this is going to follow how the comic books in broad strokes went, she is going to become the villain. Because she is so powerful. She is like one of the most powerful MCU characters, that she, in her grief...
As powerful as Captain Marvel. That was an interesting. That was a very good little conversation that they were having there. That seemed like the sort of conversation we would have in the playground. So I heard something very interesting, because obviously I don't know much about the comic that this is based on and some of the stuff that they've done in the comic verse, right? Obviously, her dad in the comics,
Magneto.
I'm trying not to spoil it for people who might not know.
Everyone knows. Everybody knows.
Well, no, obviously I didn't know that, so I'm sure there's lots of people who are casual fans.
But you've established that you don't pay attention to anything.
No, but it's never been said. Like, they couldn't have said that in the film so far.
But in X-Men they did. Yeah. Because Quicksilver in X-Men, and there's Quicksilver in this.
That's
in the Quicksilver in X-Men, he has a little sister who is called Wanda, who doesn't do anything in the X-Men films, but they established
you would have had to have seen those films. There might be people who have only seen the MCU. No.
Oh.
Those films were nowhere near as big as these films have been.
So mad, Mo. So bad.
Anyway, so do you think that he's going to appear?
No, I don't think that they're gonna bring over X-Men established into this. When they do eventually do the mutants, I do think they're gonna redo it from scratch. So I think this is just an isolated thing.
So there has been this thing that apparently, I know he doesn't play Magneto, but apparently Patrick Stewart and Kevin Feige have been having meetings. So I kind of wonder if there might be like a cameo.
Could get cameos, because don't forget, this is it's picked up in Doctor Strange, and in Spider-Man. All of that is connected to what's happening here. So in this whole, and we know in Spider-Man they getting all the other versions of Spider-Man. So maybe in Doctor Strange, maybe we'll show that universe, multiverse manipulation. We'll get a little cameo of Stewart or maybe someone else. So it's possible.
Yeah, but then did you see what I mean by like how good this show is? And then you see the trailer for Falcon and Winter Soldier, and it just seems a run-of-the-mill like buddy cop action show.
But that brings back did you even recognize the villain in the? Considering you only watch everything once and you forget people's faces as soon as you look away.
Which villain? What are you talking about here?
The villain that was in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I watched the trailer once, like last night, late at night. I probably didn't capture everything.
But the guy who triggered the whole Civil War, the Marvel's Captain America Civil War, Baron Zim.
Oh yeah. I did notice that. Yeah.
German. Okay, just making sure, just checking. Yeah, loving this. How many more we got? Can't be many.
I think there's only supposed to be like 8 episodes or something in this. It's not a long series.
No, but
which also makes me think this is going to stop short of before the next show premieres.
Oh yeah, makes sense. So they don't want to. Why cannibalize the time you've got by putting them on at the same time? You want to?
Well, yeah. Why give like your audience new stuff to watch like every week?
Yeah, you want to spread it out through the year.
Yeah, but like they've got like 20 different like Marvel and Star Wars shows like in the works.
Yeah, but those ain't been shot yet. They've only shot what? I think 3. I think Loki's the only other one that's been shot.
God knows. It's Disney. Like, what were they doing in like 2017, 2018, and 2019 when they'd already announced Disney Plus?
Yeah, they took their time. But don't forget, this shit has to be written. And you know, and I know, as writers, that shit takes a long time to do.
Well, okay, I'll give them that because they have written WandaVision really well.
Yeah.
It's not like it's what I'm thinking of like a rush show.
It's not like a CW show that where they just kind of just throw any old script at the wall. And you've heard the news as well about Randall Park, the Jimmy something or other that he plays, the FBI. That the response to him has been so good.
Yeah, Randall Park's great, man. I've been watching him for years on Fresh Off the Boat.
But the response to the character has been so well received and to him that they're considering, hasn't been greenlit or anything, but they're considering maybe some sort of spin-off show with him as the lead. Maybe something that's similar to an X-Files in the MCU.
Oh, that would be great. What you know, like how in the Defenders you had like that character that just went from like show to show. Claire, the doctor, the nurse.
Yeah.
I could very much see him like be one of those types of like he just pops up in like all the other shows.
That could be cool.
Because he's obviously he's a guy out on the road type guy. He could
FBI, isn't it? So he should be in all of these weird little whenever something crazy happens. He has to pop
they can make him an agent. They can make him a SHIELD agent.
Well, SHIELD's gone. It'd be like what's the new Sword? Maybe they employ him.
Sword. Yeah.
And they're even talking about doing a Sword spin-off. So maybe he'd either get into that or get his own little one where he's just traveling around investigating superheroes and villains and whatever weird, mysterious things goes on. Which I think I prefer, actually. That could be cool with a light-hearted.
Oh, yeah.
Tone.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Right. Should we do it then? Damn, we've still got the news to go. We haven't even done the Iron Man 2.
Has Google given away that we might see Ultron in this?
Has it?
I'm looking at the cast list for WandaVision 2021 sitcom. And you scroll down and it's got James Spader, the voice of Ultron.
Oh, okay. Well, it could just be a clip or something, right? It could be a voice, could be a clip.
They got to really get tighter grip on these sort of things, man, that kind of give away potential spoilers for things.
Yeah.
Okay, so
right, shall I run very quickly through the news? Right. So
whiz
you know
through.
like how like sometimes you hear they're gonna make movies of like things like Battleship and Tetris? Well, add Uno to that list. Mattel wants to make an Uno movie starring I'm gonna get this guy's name right. A rapper, Little Yachty?
Little Yachty, as it what the fuck?
In the lead role of the Uno movie.
What? I've never played Uno. Have you played Uno?
I've played the video game version, but Uno is very similar to blackjack.
So how the fuck do you make a game on it? Like, I can understand to a degree what you could do with a battleship because it's ships at war, basically. It's you two people fighting. So, even though the film had aliens and that were no aliens and they get up, whatever. But Uno.
So the concept is the concept that Mattel has hit on. It's a live-action heist comedy written by Marcy Kelly and set in the underground hip-hop world of Atlanta. Where they all play Uno in between sets, right? And the guy just becomes like an Uno playing champion.
What the fuck? That's just... I got nothing to say about this.
It's probably they've got a film, they've got a script, and they thought if we attach like the name Uno to it, people will know like brand recognition.
Mattel have been because they want to set up a studio, innit? This may be their first.
Oh yeah, yes.
So they would have had to really. They've got so many properties. Uno.
Well, they're testing the waters, right? It's like you go in, test the waters. Well, you build up like because you don't want to. No, but it's probably take your time to like get everything right. So you need a trial run once or twice before you pull out the big guns.
You start the way you mean to continue. You don't start with this is gonna be a flop. No one's gonna fucking see a film about Uno with Little Yachty as the star. Fuck no.
So day one, right? The midnight showing once the world returns to normal.
Definitely.
Breeze past this one because it's just all rumor at the moment. But Harry Potter being developed as a TV series at HBO Max makes loads of sense.
Desperation, man, for content, and they will cannibalize anything they have that's beloved.
Is it desperation? It's just business sense, right? It's like it was a very well-received franchise.
Yep. Yeah. Anytime something's big enough to have its own theme park or mini theme park, then I guess. So I wonder what J.K. Rowling's involvement, because she has managed to retain creative control over Harry Potter to a degree.
I bet you there is something in that small print she's given up on. Like she's allowed, they can do spin-offs that don't include like the original cast or something.
But there's already spin-offs. There's the Fantastic Beasts. She's somehow
but didn't she have like involvement in that?
Yeah,
I guess it gets to a point where as long as they just bring wheelbarrows of money to you, right?
You always say that. Some people
no, it doesn't matter, Eddie.
Once you hit that 100 million mark, there is no amount of money you can give someone that means a shit. Like this is what do they need?
Oh, well, listen, once you get to that sort of echelons in life, like that sort of money doesn't last long, right? Especially when you're having like private planes and like yachts and like mansions and a whole crew of people to keep your mansion nice and clean. And then obviously you have those like dotted around the world. That's a different lifestyle, Eddie. It costs money to keep that lifestyle going.
To own your own island. That's the dream.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Right, Blade. Kevin Feige has announced that they now have a writer for this movie.
From Watchmen.
Yes, Watchmen is one of the very things that this person has done. And they were involved in Hunters as well, which was a great show that you did not finish watching, Eddie.
Hunters? Oh, that bloody thing. Oh, you shouldn't have told me that. Now I'm like, oh, I don't want to watch this shit.
I bet if you went and watched it again, you'd love it. You would love it.
You should have just stopped at Watchmen. That this was the person who was one of the writers on Watchmen. I'll be like, yes, I want to see it. This is going to be great. Now you ruined it. I don't care. This is going to be a disaster.
No, you're going to go watch Hunters now. And you're going to be like, I loved it. Mo's so right. I should always listen to Mo. Hell Mo. Stacey O.C. Cooper. No, with the fist. Okay. Black Power. I guess it's difficult to get excited until we see starts hearing concepts. Interesting, but we trust in Feige. And lastly, talk about some talk about some hyperbolic stuff here, right? Tom Holland has essentially said that the next Spider-Man movie is going to be the most ambitious standalone superhero movie. And to be honest,
doesn't say that.
All the stuff we're hearing about that movie, it almost sounds like it's an Avengers film without the Avengers like tag.
Yeah. And what's crazy is that DC could have done this. They were on track to do this first with Flash, with their Flashpoint film, with all the Batmans that they were going to bring back and all the other iterations of Flash from different universes. Now, they've waited so long and dragged their heels that when they do eventually do it, they're just going to be seen as being the copycats to doing what Spider-Man did.
But there's nothing that Marvel can do that DC can't do worse, right? In the film universe. I don't really know. Like, they've had like 6-7 films now. I don't know why they haven't kind of just hit that magic formula now. I guess they kind of have with like the original Wonder Woman and Shazam. Remains to be seen from the Snyder Cut what happens.
Shazam.
You like Shazam?
It's okay, but it's not a film I ever want to watch again. And that's rare for me because I will watch a film a dozen times.
In a few years, when we do like the DC revisited.
Oh God. We probably will, at one point. We probably will fucking do that. Jesus.
Everything I hear about this film is just whetting the appetite, right? Like, I will go and sleep outside the cinema if cinemas are still a thing, like on opening night to watch this, because it does sound like it's just going to be so fucking. It's like a superhero wet dream.
And it's almost frustrating that we do this podcast because of this, we have to watch the trailers. This is one of those things where I won't want to watch anything.
Of course you will. I don't understand this aversion you have to trailers, Eddie.
Oh, because I like the surprise. Trailers have given away so much. And I'm one of these people that I see something and I start thinking, like, what does that mean? Oh, maybe it means this. And a lot of the time I figure it out. And it's like, oh, I saw that coming. I figured it out from the trailer.
You know what? Last night when I sat down to watch Iron Man 2, see like how we're going to transition into that, I watched the 2 trailers for the film before watching the movie.
Okay, but what?
Just to whet the appetite and get me excited for it.
Don't remember the trailers being that good for it, but
no, but like I think the problem I had with Iron Man 2 is we're now transitioning into like the MCU revisited, was it has a reputation that it is probably the worst of the Iron Man films and potentially the worst of the MCU films.
Yeah. And it's not a bad.
It's not, is it? It's not. Film. I was watching that last night.
Film.
And I was like, why did I not like this film? Why did I not want to watch this film? It's like, it's actually an okay film.
Yeah, it's a dip. I guess like when you're used to a certain consistency, it dips a little, but in that dip, it's still above what fucking Aquaman was. Like it's still.
Oh God, yeah. It's. I mean, I kind of enjoyed Aquaman, like that first viewing. I'm sure if I watched it again, I probably wouldn't. But like this, it had like so much of funny quips from like Robert Downey Jr.
The characters.
Pepper Potts was like on form when she's like,
great.
"Oh, she did a spread on Tony," and then Tony pops up and says, "Yeah, and she wrote a great article about me as well."
He's really in like cocky mode, like ultra cocky mode in this.
Scarlett Johansson in this film, my lord, she does one thing and oozes sex appeal. On purpose, like that's her whole role at the beginning of the film, right? Is to make Tony feel like,
Yep. And we have to mention the criminally overlooked and how he hasn't. I know he will. I think he's going to pop up on the TV shows, but how he hasn't come back sooner. Sam Rockwell.
What as the
Justin Hammer?
Justin Hammer. It's you are absolutely right because he does like make the universe seem a little bit bigger, right? As in like there is another weapons contractor guy out there, just not the Starks.
Yeah, and he's good. He's funny. He's like him trying to be Tony in terms of suave with the ladies and his inventions, but his inventions are kind of shitty. They're not up to scratch. They don't work properly. They kill.
Oh, the rocket.
Yeah, just bounces off. And the fact that women will just ignore him and watch the TV and see that, Tony's on it, it's like, he's so good. Sam Rockwell's so good. How will he come back sooner?
Oh, right. So you think he's going to come back. It's not that.
I believe I heard chatter that he was coming back for something.
Yeah, I think that would be good. Gary Shandling, I had to look it up if it was him. I was like, this guy looks so familiar. I was like, is it him? Because his face, that was it, right? But Damn. Obviously, I'd remembered, like, as I was looking up, that he has passed away quite recently as well.
Yeah, and he's in a couple. I think he's in Civil War. No, yeah, I think he's in Civil War as well. Because he's in that scene where they whisper on his shoulder, "Hell, Hydra." The first time they do that, it was So
yeah, but
you haven't mentioned Mickey Rourke.
Mickey Rourke. Yeah, I think if there was like a downside to this film, I thought the villain was very one-dimensional.
Yeah.
And
but that's the writing more than
climax wasn't great.
The writing of the villain was more the issue rather than Mickey's performance.
Yeah, which is so surprising, right? Because they got all the other characters, like, they done them so well. Like, everybody else in that film, even down to like Happy, was just like great.
Speaking of Happy, Jon Favreau, he actually said the big issue with this was when they made this was when everything started hitting. People started, loving the films, and they were building tools. This was before the Avengers, so yeah. So they were really needing to put things in. So this is probably the closest that you've had the studio interference with the creative of the writer director. So that made things messy. He said he had the window of time he had to make this wasn't like he did with the first one.
So is that stuff like they had to like have Agent Coulson in the film in a couple of random scenes? Because then obviously when you watch the scene at the post credits, his involvement in the film kind of makes sense. But he literally like turns up and then says, "I'm going."
It could have been that. It could have been the introduction of Scarlet. Maybe that wasn't that would have really made sense.
But that works so well in the film though. Like she really is a part of that. Yeah.
But then it is kind of weird when she pops up in a leather, whatever the bodysuit. When you really think about it objectively, it's a bit of a random switch for that moment to happen.
But that's her character, right? That's what her character wears.
Yeah. But and also the time they didn't have time to write a decent script, but it's still fun. It's
a fun movie. What I had to look up though, I don't know whether it was a continuity error or whether this film takes place before the Hulk, and apparently it does. It takes place before the Hulk, because you remember the scene at the end of the Hulk, the post-credit sequence. Tony is already signed up to the Avengers Initiative, whereas in this, he goes, "I'm not joining your boy band, your Avengers boy band or whatever it is."
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So I didn't realize. I was wondering, is that a mistake? But when you go and Google it, it actually says it actually takes place before.
That looked cool. It took inspiration in tiny amounts from the comic book series, Demon in a Bottle, I believe it's called, which is kind of delves into Tony Stark's addiction with alcohol. This kind of touches on that slightly, where he's having problems because the toxicity of the implant he's got is killing him, basically. But they resolve that so quick. It's like, oh, we noticed something. Oh yeah, it kind of builds up to nothing, which I think these are the things that people had an issue with. These sort of
So there are things that are dropped in this film, but I'll be honest. Maybe I went in with such low expectations. That's why I feel like I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. I do find that even how bad it is. I've seen it multiple times, even though I know that it supposedly is bad, but it's still it cruises. It cruises.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's never any bits in this film where it's the downtime is so low that you feel bored or whatever. The one thing, watching it the way we're watching it now, like week after week, I think I really felt the change in actor that plays War Machine.
Yeah.
Like I never really noticed it before, but like now it's because you see them like within 2 weeks of each other. The role is just so different.
Like Don Cheadle's great actor, a better actor I reckon than what's his face from he was in the first one. But
what's his name?
Terrence Howard.
Yeah.
But Terrence Howard just has a certain. I think his look fits it better.
Could they just sort of just recast, right? Just change the character's name or whatever, and just said from now on this character is going to be this?
Maybe they should have, but I guess they established that these were friends in the military from long. So I don't know, but yeah, it's a shame. Terrence, you fuck yourself up, man. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, but I'm actually really looking forward to seeing Iron Man 3, right? Because again, I've only seen it the once.
But you did like it though, didn't you?
it's not a memorable film. The only thing I really remember about it is like all the Iron Man suits.
Go in knowing that there's not much Iron Man in it.
That's fine, because there's not much Iron Man in this one as well. Like, true. Robert Downey Jr. is capable of carrying this film as Tony Stark. And, Tony Stark is an interesting character compared to like some of the other their secret personalities.
Well, he's not a secret personality.
It's not a secret, but you know, like the alter ego is like the superhero, whereas like Tony Stark is the man.
Yeah, but no, again, 3 is a good film.
Yeah,
it is good.
I mean, it's a Shane Black movie, so maybe I was just hoping for it to be like Last Boy Scout.
Yeah, Last Boy. Well, Kiss Kiss. I think Kiss Kiss Bang Bang or Last Boy Scout.
Well, it's not so much which is a better film. It's more like the dialogue.
Yeah.
I'd imagine he probably had a lot of issues, right? Where he had to tone it down, but he probably also had you must add this and you must add that type thing.
Inevitably.
And then you also have, there was also, well, I guess we're talking too much about that film now, but there was also not a twist, but it was almost like you were expecting to see a certain type of villain, and it turns out it wasn't real.
Yeah. When it was gonna be real, but the reaction was so bad that they later had to come out and say, "Yeah, no, we're gonna bring that other one back in for real. This was just, a pretend guy."
Yeah, but I would give. I don't know what to rate this film. I don't think it's quite a 4, but I don't think it's a 3. So maybe somewhere in between, a 3.5.
3.5.
Yeah.
3.5.
But one thing that really hits me about the Iron Man films, especially the sequels, when you look at all the other sequels, not the first films in the franchises, they all have subtitles. Thor: Dark World, Winter Soldier, Civil War, Volume 2. The Iron Man films don't.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I literally have never noticed that. That is weird. What? I guess you just don't need to with Iron Man, do you? It's short enough.
Yeah, but it's like but because they refer to them as Iron Man 2 and 3, I think in the other films like Thor, Dark World, and Thor Ragnarok, they don't refer to them as Thor 1, 2, and 3.
I don't think it rolls off the tongue to say. I don't know. Maybe it's a weird little test subject thing they did. What do you think of the name 4-2? And list 4-2. Think about it. People are just gonna see the number 4 and then 42. Oh, whoa, 42. Have you seen 42? No, 4-2. Yeah, I can see why they didn't do that with 4.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2? No, it's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
But it's too long by that point. Oh no, but Volume 2. No, but Volume 2 because of the music.
Yeah, and then you've got, instead of Ant-Man 2, you've got Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, because the Wasp was the co-headliner because they changed.
But you see what I mean, right? Almost all the other sequels have like something that tells you exactly what that film is.
I think it only makes sense except for Captain America, maybe. But even then, Captain America 2.
Yeah, no, Captain America 2, Winter Soldier, Captain America.
But Captain America 2 wouldn't have sounded good. Captain America 3. I don't know. I kind of get it if they're sitting there thinking about it. It kind of makes sense.
It's probably something they decided to do at a later stage.
Yeah, maybe. So, thumbs up then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have like the Thor movie to look forward to next week.
Yes, we do.
Like Sunday nights has now become like the MCU night for me.
Okay. Oh yeah, because you're watching the Disney. Do you leave it until Sunday to watch the Wonder?
No. I'll watch that either. Well, I watched it this week on the Friday night, but sometimes I'll watch it like Saturday morning. If you want to follow us on Twitter, folks, we are Talking at the Movies 3, and if you want to follow us on Instagram, we are Talking at the Movies.
Guys, don't forget.
You stopped my flow there. I completely forgot everything.
I keep you on your toes. And don't forget, guys, YouTube, Voltron Network. Give us a subscribe, a thumbs up. So from me to Reese.
I mean, Mo.
See you guys next week. Later.
See you, folks.